Before we start today's video, check out our affiliate links in the description down below. These can make some great gifts with the holiday season just around the corner, or even a gift for yourself. It supports the channel at no extra cost of you. Thanks so much. May the force be with you, and enjoy the video.
Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
What's up guys, Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and in this video we have an unfortunate update for you Boba Fett fans out there and into the regards of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna hop right on into it, break it all down for you guys, everything that we know and everything that we're anticipating right now. Before we do though, however, grab that subscribe button if you haven't already, as we're discussing and covering all types of Star Wars related news, leaks, rumors, theories, and breakdowns here on the channel. So if you guys are into any of that, go ahead and grab that subscribe button today. Okay, so in today's video, we are going to be taking a quick read from Forbes.com as an overall garnering source. I'll have their article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. Okay, so yeah, Forbes is a different one. I haven't really actually read from one of their articles before, but they go on to read that Boba Fett won't be in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, apparently after his show had bombed. Also with the actor himself, Temuera Morrison, coming forward and saying a few words about that there as well, like saying that he just hasn't received a call for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, especially as they are currently in the midst of the filming and the production updates right now. I'm trying to think back, like, I mean, we cover so much here on the channel. I want to say that I have caught wind of this already before, to reports saying that Disney and, you know, Boba Fett, they haven't hashed anything out to make a return anywhere in the Mandoverse, unfortunately, it seems, at least for the time being. Now, I beg to differ. Maybe Temuera Morrison's throwing us off the tail here and trying to kind of throw us off really here and give us a bit of a surprise for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. But their article goes on to read that we feel really bad for Temuera Morrison, an actor who has had such an essential role in the Star Wars franchise and universe over the years, culminating in the ability to play the most famous clone of all, Boba Fett, on The Mandalorian and eventually even in his own show, The Book of Boba Fett. Now it appears we simply may not see Fett again, at least for a while, if maybe ever. At Fan Expo in Chicago, Temuera Morrison recently took to say that Boba Fett will not appear in the upcoming Mandalorian and Grogu film, but past that also says that they're, in quote, "This show's reception does seem to have impacted the future of the character in the franchise," ending that quote right there. I mean, honestly, I would hope that not to be the case. I don't think it is to be the case in my own thoughts and opinions, of course, by which let me know all of your guys' thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. I just feel that the way that the Boba Fett show had come to a conclusion is very satisfying. Like, it doesn't really feel like we would immediately need a follow-up with a second season and need more stories to be told with that character just yet. I think that we will see him in the future, maybe not the near future, but I think that whenever we see our characters of Mando or Ahsoka and all of the other Mandoverse characters maybe out there on their journeys and on their different adventures, they swing around maybe to the sand desert planet of Tatooine in seeking help of the daimyo himself of Boba Fett, and he'll lend his hand and his forces from there. He just seems to be at peace for right now. I mean, I know for those of you guys that may be saying, but wait a minute, at the end of that show, in the finale, he even says, you know, to his crew and to Fennec Shand, like, yeah, I don't think that this daimyo life is really for me, and that's kind of to reference of that he wants to get back out there into the bounty hunting life of things, and it does, and that is true. That definitely sets up things for a second potential season of the Book of Boba Fett. Not just that, but the continuation of his character, period. Whether or not that's inside and out of other Mandoverse shows is very clear and cut, and something that I don't think that we will see. Is something that we have to see, if for anything. They set things up like that, and it's something that they'd have to kind of follow through on with that. To say that they're not bringing the character back, though, purely because of the way that the show had performed or the reception from the fans and all of that stuff, isn't fair to say either. The Book of Boba Fett is one of the most viewed Disney Plus Star Wars shows, and one of the most liked ones by Star Wars fans out there as well. Especially myself, personally. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I definitely really enjoyed the show. Maybe people didn't enjoy it necessarily as a Boba Fett show, though, however, and that can also be very true, and I can see where people are coming from with that there as well. The Mandalorian coming in, hijacking, you know, 2 episodes out of his, 7-8 episode run, does take a bit of a hit for the overall of the show, and the show being a show about Boba Fett. I mean, but at the end of the day, that's something that really falls onto the writers and how they would fix that. It's something of an internal problem that goes on with Disney, of course, very clear different cuts. It's something that they would fix for the second season also very clearly as well, bringing back that old badass Boba that we all know and love from maybe the original trilogy, from the Clone Wars animated show there as well, and seeing him getting back to some of those bounty hunting ways, as I had mentioned, even referenced in the finale of the first season of the Book of Boba Fett. Despite Boba Fett's popularity in the Star Wars canon and by the fans, the Book of Boba Fett is the lowest scored Disney Plus series of the franchise at a 66% on Rotten Tomatoes, unfortunately. Now, when I had talked about and just said it's one of the most successful shows by fans out there, it's one of the most talked about shows out there is what I'm getting out there. Nor was it some sort of underappreciated audience favorite as well, as it has a 49% audience score on there as well. That can kind of be blamed on review bombs and people upset that this isn't a show really about Boba Fett, having the Mandalorian come in there as well and stealing a couple of those episodes definitely doesn't help the case there as well. It seemed to cut against the core of what Boba Fett was in many ways, building him up to the warlord on Tatooine who did not want to actually commit any other crimes, even Tamora Morrison seemed perplexed at the handling of the character in the writing, saying, in quotes, "Sometimes I'd say to Favreau, I think this is too much. I think this is too much," Morrison said, but he goes on to say that, "No, this scene tomorrow, I am talking too much. This Boba Fett doesn't talk this much," and that quote right there. And honestly, I also argue against that. I know that's not the way that we see Boba Fett throughout other Star Wars canon. I like to believe that's the way that we saw him in the Clone Wars animated show, a young, reckless kid that's kind of a loudmouth, and I really think that's the way that his character does come off in the animated show. But in the likes of the original trilogy, there really isn't room for Boba Fett to necessarily talk all that much. So when it comes to his own show, of course, it's a different version of the character. They're refleshing out his character. They're humanizing his character, is I think really what that is. Boba does in fact talk a lot in that show, in the Book of Boba Fett. It simply just wasn't very good, and its first two episodes, best episodes, were the ones that didn't even star Boba Fett as the main character, but will handled his show over to the Mandalorian himself as a bridge between seasons of his show, as I had mentioned. Point being, it seems that we won't be seeing any Boba Fett in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, unfortunately. As I had mentioned, we can keep our ears perked up on that one, because there is that chance that he may be trying to throw us off. But the whole idea of him not returning simply because of the way that his show had performed, I also don't necessarily believe to be the case. I think that the writers are acknowledging that like they are going to handle his character better and want to do more with his character in the future. So let me know what you guys all think in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Of course, this has been an official Star Wars. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.